The learning is Ili Nishmas Etta Ahuva Bas Yaakov Maseches Kesubos Perik Yud Gimel Mishna Hey Hapoisik Mois L'Chasnei. If someone promises that he's going to give money to his son-in-law as a nedunya, upasha loy as haregel, and then he backs out. Lashon upasha loy as haregel. Rashi brings down two pshatim. Either he says, take the dirt off my foot, in other words, I'm not interested in paying you, or hang me on a tree, I have no money to give. Either way, he's backing out of the nedunya. So the husband now doesn't want to marry her, and he also doesn't want to divorce her because he wants his money. So the halacha is that we don't force him. Bezdin doesn't force him to marry her or to give a get. She has to sit until she gets old. Admin is chaylik. No, the girl could say, Ilani pasakti la'atzmi, if I was the one that made up this deal, that if I was the one that promised to you that I was going to give you a nedunya, so then you have a right to keep me hostage, not to divorce me and not to marry me. It wasn't me, it was my father who promised. What could I do? So then Bezdin forces him either to marry her or to give a get. Gamliel agrees to Admin. So this is the third Mishnayos in a row. This is the third memra of Admin. And all three, Gamliel said, Royani es divrei Admin. The Gemara says that whenever it says Royani, Amar Gamliel, Royani es divrei Admin, we paskin like that. There's a machlokes in the Gemara. Different shita holds that if the father was the one that was paisik, then the kuli alma, the daughter could say, it wasn't me, it was my father, and therefore you have to give me a get or marry me. The machlokes is where she was the one that made it up. Another ukimta in the Gemara is that this is only talking about if she was a gedolah. But if she's a katana, then Avada Bezdin forces the husband to give her a get. Taisus brings down in ukimta that the Chachamim hold that the husband is allowed to keep her hostage and he doesn't have to give a get and doesn't have to divorce her, is dafka if she was there b'shas the father promised. So she was part of it was b'mamada. But if she had nothing to do with it, then l'kuli alma she could say, it wasn't me, it was my father, and therefore you have to give me a get. One last thing in this Mishnah, in the Shita of Chachamim that hold that we don't force the husband, and the halacha is Teishav Shetal ben Roisha, does the husband have a tvias mammon to the father-in-law to get this money back? So Taisus brings from the Rashbam that even though we said earlier that there's such a thing by a shtar tanoim, and over there hein advarim, I think ba'amira, even though it was ba'amira without a kinyan, still he has a tvia. That's dafka if they got married right away after the tanoim. But over here where it was kidshul achar zman, and they didn't mention the Tanoim, then there's no Tvias Mammon. Taisus L'maisa is chaylik and says that Avada, the Mishnah is just saying Teishav Shetal ben Roisha, that he doesn't have to marry her and he doesn't have to give a get. But as far as getting his money from the father-in-law, he'd be able to take the father-in-law to Bezdin. Mishnah Vav. This is the fourth thing that Admin said. He was the second of the Dayanim Gezeres in Yerushalayim. And the fourth thing he said was, Ha'ir al Asadeh, if a person is Ma'ir on Asadeh, that it's his field, and that it was stolen from him and sold to someone else. So in other words, Ruvain says that Levi stole my field and sold it to you, Shimon. V'hu chasam aleh be'ed. But Ruvain is actually signed as one of the Eidim on the Shtar Mechir from Levi to Shimon. So Ruvain, it's a taina Ruvain. What are you doing? Why are you signing on this field if you held that it didn't even belong to Levi? So Admin Omer, Yachahu Sheyomer, Hasheni Noyach Li, Vaharishin Kashan Hemenu. Levi could say, yeah, the reason why I signed on it is because I had no way to get it back from Ruvain, who stole it from me. So therefore I waited for Ruvain to sell it to Shimon. I even signed on that shtar to make it seem as if Shimon gets it. And now, once Shimon gets it, now I want to be Teveah from Shimon. The Chachamim Oimrim ibed es chusay. No, because why are you signing? It's from the fact that you signed in it. It's mashma that you're moida, that you are not the owner of the field. But the Mishnah says everyone agrees that if asa simin la'achar, which means that he wasn't signing on the mechir of this field. He was signing on the mechir of a different field, but on that field, they described the location of the field as being next to this field, and Reuben signed as an aid on that mechir. So that means he agreed that this field does not belong to him, and he had nothing to gain now and to sign on this field. So then, ibed etzchusa, then he lost his zchus.